different legal frameworks, the Rating Act, Valuation for Rating, Lands Act, a collection of land rent, and Urban Areas and Cities Act, so largely property taxes. Since the advent of the county governments, we have seen an upward trajectory in the on up-to-date valuation rules needs to be updated. The low performance of property tax collection in low-income countries results from inadequate legal framework, administrative and institutional weaknesses, and insufficient compliance frameworks. So we in Kenya Revenue Authority and through KESRA, we have been instrumental in supporting the national and local governments to improve their property tax administrations through the tailored collaborative framework that includes the IMF, United Nations Capital Development Fund, the Control of Budget, Council of Governors, and Commission on Revenue Allocation. To date, 20 counties have undergone the TADAT training and assessment, and about 500 technical staff trained across all these counties. The importance of this conference is in learning from practical experiences and research insights to improve property taxation and county government's expectations, which, as we agree this morning, has a lot of potential. And this can be done through research to develop expertise, comparative knowledge, and sharing experiences, leveraging donor support to enhance property taxes through technical training for local governments, implementation of what has worked in other countries, and again goes back to sharing experiences, and this is such as the work done by ICTD and LOGRI in Zambia, Sierra Leone, Malawi, and DRC, amongst others. Also further, to leverage government support from within the forum to give insight into the collaboration and integration of systems for enhanced revenue collection. As KRA, we fully support LOGRI's partnership with KESRA and IBEC, aiming to offer technical assistance, capacity building, and knowledge sharing to improve the capacity to mobilize revenue. We therefore undertake to ensure KRA's commitment to this initiative, which we believe is a significant part of the efforts to improve the economies of developing countries, including Kenya. With those few and many remarks, I wish to thank you all, as I wish all of us fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those wonderful remarks. Very, very useful. Of course, LOGRI, we focus very, very, very specifically on the recurrent type of property taxes that are at the local level. So not all taxes that are related to property, but excellent. Thank you so much for that. Now, it gives me the singular pleasure to invite up to give us welcome remarks the Governor of Kisii County, Honorable Paul Simba Arati.
Good morning. You know, we are coming into a bad time when our country is on a very discussion on taxes. You'll allow me, given that there is the Prime Cabinet Secretary here who represents the national government, you will bear me witness that his government, again, is, if people, the normal Kenyans, were to hear that we are discussing issues of tax here, we'll be flushed out of this hall in a minute, because there is issues of tax. But again, allow me, my name is Simba Arati, the Governor of Kisii. Your Excellency, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Salim Davat, Acting CEO, Mr. Rispa Simiu, Principal Secretary, Intergovernmental Budget, and Economic Council, my friend Patrick, the Executive Director, Local Government Revenue Initiative, Dr. Titola Akidedide. Close that. I'm told there's a short one in Nigerian, the way I would have called it, but thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, I wish to express my delight and honor to be here today for this important conversation around property tax and revenue generation. This conference has come at a time when the country, my country, and our country is engaged in a high-level debate over revenue-raising proposal in the finance bill, which again will be tabled in Parliament on Thursday. The guiding theme of this conference, which is building progressive and equitable tax system in lower-income countries, resonate with the conversation we're having as a country at the moment. Gathered here today are government administrators, policymakers, and researchers to share real-life experience, challenge opportunities and strategies for improving property tax system. I'm looking forward to incisive discussion on property tax, which is an important source of our own source revenue for county government, thus improving their financial capacity. At the Council of Governors, we have been grappling with issue of inadequate financing for development expenditure. Over years, countries or counties have failed to achieve their revenue collection targets. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What are the gaps? And how can we seal them? I saw Titola, when you pointed out that those are the gaps we want to really see if we can seal them. We cannot provide service and address the numerous development needs of our people. Over the last few months, I've been in office as a governor of Kisii County. I've come to realize that there is immense on-source revenue potential if we apply the right strategies. We cannot afford to continue doing things the same way. This is why we're working closely with the national government to put in place the right governance system, adapting information technology, and other innovation to improve property tax management. I wish to thank His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary for finding time to join with us in this conference. This goes to underscore the seriousness the national government has attached to revenue collection and management. And this is because every time, as we stand as the counties, we're talking at the moment, we have not received from the national government close to 3 months our allocations. We've not been paying salaries, save that they paid us some little money last week. We'll be able to caution our people with. I also thank the organizers of this conference for sustaining the conversation since the inception of the Africa Property Tax Initiative in 2011. We're indeed grateful that you found it appropriate to bring the Negro Conference to Nairobi, Kenya. I wish you all the best as we embark on conversation around the conference theme over the next 2 days. It's now my pleasure again to invite His Excellency the Prime Cabinet Secretary to address the gathering. Thank you. I would have not done it more than that because myself, I'm not a tax collector. That's why you could do better. Your Excellency, the Prime Secretary, you're welcome. Thank you.
Please be seated. Thank you, Governor Simba Arati. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Wilson Pritchard, ICT, the Executive Director, Logri Chair, Associate Professor at the University of Toronto, and then the name that we are all struggling to pronounce properly, Dr. Titola Akinde Inde. Okay, Executive Director of Logri, Moyo Arewa, Program Director, Logri, the Commissioner General, and of course my friend, His Excellency Governor Simba Arati. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. I stand here to represent the Deputy President, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, who was scheduled to open this very vital meeting. So I'm here, and my initial remarks will be what he would have wanted to say. And then at the end of the day, after I've put a full stop to his remarks, I'll just say one or two things. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to open this Logri conference and extend the best wishes from the President of the Republic of Kenya, and to thank you for choosing Kenya as your host nation. You are welcome to Kenya. We are honored and proud that the Local Government Revenue Initiative has organized its inaugural conference since its inception in Nairobi, and especially so to launch Logri to the global stage here in Nairobi. In line with the Kenya Constitution, the Public Finance Management Act of 2012, and the County Governments Act of 2012, the place of on-source revenue in enhancing the fiscal economies for our county governments is key to institutionalizing devolution. Property tax accounts for over 25% of the county's on-source revenue. It is the core source of revenue for counties. There is, however, still room for improvement. Indeed, reports from the Commission on Revenue Allocation and the Office of the Control of Budget show that property taxes have huge untapped collection potential. Counties' integrated development plans also show that counties are aware of their responsibilities in the provision of a range of services, from county financial autonomy in the fulfillment of devolution, overcoming constraints in external funding, instilling a civic and constitutional duty in residents to pay towards cost of service delivery and well-being, accountability and efficient revenue management for on-source revenue compliance. Ratepayers and consumers of county services will demand better service delivery from on-source revenue collected. Mismanagement of on-source revenue automatically leads to non-compliance in the collection of on-source revenue and poor service delivery. Better remuneration to county staff because of enhanced on-source revenue, will result in increased productivity and better service delivery to the residents. This conference that has brought together government administrators, policymakers, applied researchers to share practical experiences and research insights is long overdue. You are invited to also share challenges, opportunities, and strategies in formulating more progressive and equitable property tax systems in low-income countries. This engagement therefore presents opportunities to enhance on-source revenue by county governments in efforts geared towards meeting fiscal deficits. In the current era of constrained resources, we are optimistic that this conference will stimulate practical discussions to inform policy on property taxation in counties and national government. Lastly, as a country, we are happy that this conference promotes conference tourism. I encourage you to use your free time to sample the diverse culture, food, and dance offered by the people of Kenya. Thank you, and I look forward to your resolutions. It is my honor to formally declare this conference officially open. Thank you. Now, let me just make a few remarks. I feel comfortable having a brief engagement here because, as Simba Arati knows, this is a background we have shared within this space. So I'll just highlight one or two issues around this conference and the issues that you're likely to tackle. First, if we were just to go back into medieval times, property ownership was actually the measure for political rights. If you had property, you could sit on the table and make political decisions. At that time, I believe in the medieval times, property owners were keen to show what they owned. It was a measure of their weight in the political arena. Today, it's the converse. Property owners tend to hide what they own. They don't want to show it because it's synonymous with more taxation. Now, that is where this conference comes in very handy. Because what do we do knowing that it is time for people to raise more revenue and not to hide what they own so that they can pay their rightful share of taxes, the land taxes, whether it's rates, stamp duty, or any other of the taxes that the Commissioner General has highlighted here today. So technology becomes critical. The science that goes into identifying land and what is on that land is absolutely essential. So in your conversation, the issue of how to leverage on technology to make this particular space more productive in terms of revenue generation will become very, very critical. The other thing that one needs to harmonize will be the legal framework. How many pieces of legislation revolve around the tax-related matters on land? I don't know, each country has got its own, but you have, here we had the Ratings Act, then there are issues around the land rent, there are issues that, so many pieces of legislation that deal with land. You would have, whether it's the improved site value approach you want to take, or an improved site value, then you have to look at rating for agricultural land, industrial land. If you are in Nairobi, we have seen debates on whether the county government of Nairobi should draw rates from the national park, as an example, the Nairobi National Park. Now, these are very difficult issues to resolve, and I'm sure each country has got its unique. I hear there are 90 representatives from other parts of outside Kenya who are in this hall. You can imagine how different it is in your respective space or domain. How do you harmonize this? In Kenya, we tried to, even through the Constitution, say that you must have a minimum. What is the minimum ownership that one can have in terms of land? We have never actually been able to actualize that aspect of the Constitution, because we are conflicted. You have areas where you have trust land, you have areas where you have community land, and all these are governed by different pieces of legislation. The question then is, how do you approach it from a revenue perspective? This I will leave to you to find solutions for us as we move forward. Then there's also the question of, how do you make your counties competitive? Taxation is elastic. You get to some place and it will snap. Honorable Simbarati has just given some examples of the tension we are going through and the debate that you're going through. And indeed, the president has now made a statement to say, look, if this housing levy is such a controversial issue, because it was pegged at 3%, let us listen to the message that is coming from the people. Why don't we lower it to 1.5%? Because taxation is elastic. So you must manage it so that it doesn't snap. So as you enhance the revenue collection, what we must also figure out is, what would you do as a researcher in this field, or somebody who is supposed to deal with policy here, so that your city, whether it is Nairobi, or whether it is Luanda in Angola, or whether it is Addis Ababa, whatever, Cairo, how do you make sure that you are not taxing investors out of your city? Because with excessive taxation, you can drive them out of town. And if you drive them out of town, you erode your own tax base. So what is the balance that you experts will be exploring to try and figure out that this particular area, what should be the quantum of that? So as you improve the tax collections, as you get more people within that framework, you must also bear in mind that you're also dealing with a major economic issue which needs to be managed carefully. So, as I conclude, we in Kenya have to strengthen devolution. It's part of our constitution. And we need to get our counties becoming more robust. And we look forward to a situation where one day the governor of Kisii will be the one lending money to the national government of Kenya. And it can be done because in the past, and Simba Arati will bear me out, there's something that went wrong. I don't know what it is. But before we transited to the county governments, we had the Local Government Act, which was governing our entities. And at that time, they were not drawing money from the national government. There was no revenue share. But the same county governments, local governments, were able to pay salaries. Simba Arati is a practitioner in this. In Nairobi, they were able to meet the salary payments for the Nairobi City Council. So what happened when the revenue share mechanism came in? Did we then encourage some measure of laxity? What did we do? So these are issues to look at. Capacity building. This is an area that needs to be done very fast. We have also seen that the county governments, most of them have not been rated. Many areas remain untapped. You need to find a way of accelerating the professionals, fast track them to help that to be done, employ technology so that we can then bring in as many ratepayers as we can. As we said, that was the beginning of the politics. In the medieval times, you know it, it was a question of who are the property owners, and they are the ones who then determined the political direction of a nation. Now, there's a reversal. It is not necessarily the property owners who determine the political direction of a nation. It's the general populace that does that. But then we now must have functioning entities to encourage proper service delivery and to make sure that people can earn what is their worth in terms of being able to improve our education, our healthcare, and all the programs that we ought to when we are in public space. So thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope that the outcome of your conversations will enrich all of us in this area of property taxes and how we can improve that space. Asanteni sana.
to stay for the day, so we'll just take a minute. We all stand while His Excellency takes his exit. Or when you're ready, you're free to leave. So, without much further ado, we're going to go into the first session, which is going to focus on property tax and challenges to reforms. It will be moderated by Professor Riel Franzen. Riel is the director of the Africa Tax Institute at the University of Pretoria. And in addition to the many hats that Riel wears as a policy advisor for various entities, including the IMF, the World Bank, and in more than 30 countries in Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, the Middle East, Riel occupies the South African Research Chair in Tax Policy and Governance. And he specializes in land and property taxation. So please welcome with me Riel Franzen, moderating the first session. Okay, while they're taking their seats, we're going to take a photograph with His Excellency. So while the panel takes their seat, we will just take a photograph with His Excellency. Okay?